I got asked Cassandra in my hot seat today. And if you are not familiar with her, I want to do a great, great, grand introduction for you. She is a certified relationship coach, but not just that. She's a Christian professional for men.
Yep.
And I think a lot of these platforms have set us up where we're only worried about the women. We're only worried about giving advice to the women. And please, guys, let me know if the signal is not great. It's the first time we're doing live hot with Holiday. Let me know if I'm echoing. Let me know if everything's not coming in right so we can fix it. Because we want to make sure this is a great live, and we want to be able to save it so you guys can, who didn't get to make it to the live this morning. I know it's early, it's 10:30 a.m., 10:45. So for you guys who didn't get a chance to catch the live, you'll be able to go back and listen to that and watch the full episode on my YouTube. And we're definitely going to be dropping some dope clips from this because I have a feeling today's going to be amazing.
Right.
And let's just get right into it. So, Christian professional for men. Can you explain this to me?
Yeah, so my target, clarify that a little bit. So I'm a relationship and a life coach and a men's advocate specifically for Christian professional men. So a lot of times people like to use the Bible to use hot words like, I need my woman to submit to me. But the Bible says that a wife is to submit to her husband and a husband is supposed to submit to his wife. So we have people that utilize the Bible for their own whim, and I want to make it very clear what God's idea of marriage gets to look like. So anybody could do marriage how they want to do it, but if we're gonna use the Bible over here, if we want a Christian-based marriage, it's gotta look a little bit different.
So let's start with that, right? With marriage. A lot of people say marriage is not for happiness. It is for you guys to serve your purpose, for you to find your person, and for you guys to serve whatever God's purpose is together.
Yeah, I used to believe
what is
that.
marriage for? Is it a business relationship? Is it for you to find the love of your life and be happy forever? What is marriage for?
So we serve a God that says, I seek to give you life and life more abundantly. I don't know anything that's abundant that has to do with like death to happiness, right? If I'm thinking about an abundant life, my life is the ish, right? And the purpose of marriage, when we look at the Bible talks about a time when in the Old Testament, when God was mad at the people for doing all kind of chaotic, murdering people for no reason, sleeping with people's wives for no reason, just doing a lot of chaos. And what God said, he said, I'm taking away the voice of the bride and the groom, the husband and the wife. I'm taking their voice away. Why? Because when a man's voice and a woman's voice comes together, something magnificent, mysterious happens. I'm breaking up?
Yes.
Let me see.
Because we got a lot to go through today. We gotta get this Wi-Fi right.
I see the your other page looks like it's glitching a little bit on my end. Is it clear on your end?
Yeah.
You look clear to me.
Yes. And you look clear to me.
Okay.
And I look clear to me too.
Yeah. I love you so much. I'm a total fan. But yeah, so God took away their voice because there's a mysterious spiritual opportunity that God gave us when a husband and a wife comes together, that they exponentially create life. They exponentially create beautiful things on earth. So the purpose of marriage is for a husband and a wife to come together to fill the earth up, and however we decide, however we can think of it, right? So a full life can look like vegetation, like food for everybody to eat. A full life looks like vacation. A full life looks like taking care of children and giving them amazing, magnificent opportunities and memories, right? So whatever that fullness is, as far as like the deficits of the reason why marriage doesn't give that happiness experience is because a lot of people grew up in chaos. If you don't heal that chaos before you get into a marriage, you finna deal with it in marriage. That's what's gonna happen. Everybody doesn't just, you don't get through marriage without dealing with yourself. But there are people who are married, families that are married that has no divorce, no infidelity, like the whole entire lineage, right? There's no arguing, there's no bickering, there's no yelling, there's no raising of the voice. And there are other family lines that have every single man cheated, or every single woman cheated, or every single person had multiple kids out of wedlock, or had a baby on, while they were with
Is
somebody else in
that a
their marriage.
generational curse, or is that what people are using to coddle the fact that they're not wanting to do the work to be better people for the people they're trying to be with?
That is a loaded question, and the answer is yes to both. So there are generational things that we do. I absolutely believe that lives in the blood, right? Like, for example, I know somebody where, like, in her family, she had gotten an abortion and didn't know that her mother had one. Nobody ever told her about it. Nobody ever said anything about it. But there are some people who've never had an abortion, and there are people who, like, their whole family have, and they never have to discuss it. It's not learned behavior. It just lives in the blood, in terms of that's what self-preservation looks like in this family. You feel me? So it can be generational. It can be a generational curse. And if there are generational curses, there are generational blessings. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why we ought to seek to, like, heal ourselves and get connected with people that live a blessed life, so we can have blessed
I like to
kids.
use an example because I always like to give life experiences so people can relate more.
Yeah.
When I was 16, I got pregnant, right?
Yeah.
I got pregnant and I just knew like this was not what I saw for my life.
Yep.
I had my mom and my dad, and I grew up with both.
Yep.
And my mom has always been, I'm so thankful for her because she's always shared her trauma and her experiences with me. So I think that's what avoided this so-called generational curse. My mom was pregnant at 16. She
Wow.
had my sister at 16, and the rest is history. Me and my sister 8 years apart, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the same father, but my mom ended up meeting my dad, marrying him, and before them having me, they got married. She said, "I'm not having any more kids outside." So my mom made the decision to break that generational curse of
Totally.
I'm no longer going to have a child out of wedlock, which is what we call a bastard.
Right.
We're no longer going to shack up and play house unless your intentions for me is marriage.
Okay.
So my mom was working at a gas station in New York. My dad happened to pull up to the gas
Come
station. Come
on,
live with
Colette.
me. Come be
Come
with
on.
me. Come
Yes.
move in with me. And at the time, moving into a man's mama's house wasn't the same thing as it is now. And
Right.
my grandmother had 6 bedrooms. She was well, you know what I'm saying? And my dad had his own wing of the house to raise a family.
Yep.
And they knew that they would need my grandmother to show them how to be great parents until they
Yeah.
were able to go out and not get an apartment, go get a house.
Yeah.
So my mom said, "Well, I'm not living with you if you're not going to marry me." My dad
Mm-hmm.
married her. A year later, I was born. And so
Yes.
let's just fast forward. When I did become pregnant, my mom's like, "You don't want to have this baby, but it is your choice. I just want to let you know this will be your child, not mine." And she didn't get the luxury to have that space. She had to leave my sister with my grandmother to go trying to find a better life for herself and her child in the future that she wanted. Nonetheless, when I had this abortion, this was the moment that me and my mother connected the most, I think. We were in the abortion clinic, and as we were sitting there waiting for my turn, she tells me the story of how she was about maybe 16 or 15. She was messing around with an older man who she knew she really had no business messing with him, and better yet said he knew he had no business dealing with her.
Okay.
She went over his house after school, and he forced himself on her. I want to use the word rape, but it's more like sexual assault because she was already, dealing with this person. But no is no. I don't care how many times I've given it to you. This is not what I want to do. This is not what I want to do. And he forced himself
Totally.
upon my mother, and she couldn't go tell anyone because she had already had this
Exactly.
baby, and everybody already is looking at her as an unfit teenager. This is
Right.
not what
Right.
teenagers do. You already fast. You already too grown. You already this. So she had to suppress that for so many years. I think until she actually told me. Her
Wow.
telling me, she might not even know this to this day, but her sharing that with me gave me a whole new perspective on the choices that I not only make for myself in this moment, but the
Yeah.
advice that my parent is giving me, not to control me, not to because sometimes we don't understand when our parents give us advice. We just think they don't know anything. And in that moment, I looked at my mother as my savior, because who was I going to share these experiences with? I wasn't going to talk to my 60-year-old friends about having a baby, having to get rid of it. What do I do next? What is life going to look like if I have this child? Nobody could tell me that story but her.
Right.
So
Totally.
just going back to what the nature of, you say, deleting generational curses, doing something different, sharing those traumas with your child and those experiences with your children to make them better people. You are not doing them a favor by hiding what you went through.
Exactly. 100%.
But go ahead. Yeah.
No, I love it. And thank you for sharing that, because these are real life conversations. People see you. I mean, I see you, right? I see you looking very demure, you know what I'm saying, in the pool, you know what I'm saying?
And demure, I'm not demure. I changed that word because that just means a woman who likes to sleep with a lot of men.
Oh, is that what it means? I didn't even look it up.
So nobody's looking up the dictionary and seeing that demure means a woman that likes to sleep with a lot of men.
Well, we scratched that. You was looking real hot.
Yeah, I'm very mindful, far from demure.
Yes, you know what I'm saying? People see you and they don't see you burning the midnight oil. You know what I'm saying? They don't see you grinding. They don't see you. They see a beautiful woman that looks like she just woke up and have it all. They don't see the effort that you put into your work. They don't see the effort that you put into your craft. They don't see your heart. And it's really important to have these conversations, because a lot of us who are doing big things, who are doing our best, we're literally doing our best. You know what I'm saying? We have some days that I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a grown up. I don't want to be an adult today. You know what I'm saying? Like, those days absolutely come where being an adult is looking really ghetto. You know what I'm saying? And we get to draw on this strength. Yeah, we get to draw on this strength. You know, I have a daughter. She's 9 years old. And I intend on having very transparent conversations with her. You know, I was just talking to a friend of mine, and I don't want to take away from the opportunity to ask me the questions, but I was reflecting on, like, speaking of generational curses. Sometimes people say, like, oh, you'll marry your father. I grew up with my mom and my dad, but I didn't marry someone that was like my dad. I married somebody that was controlling like my mother. So in my mind, I thought I was doing well by marrying somebody that reflected a familiarity, but in the end, it blew up in my face. I tried to do all the right things, you know, not sleep around, get married. We had our child 5 years into our marriage. We were together for 14 years. I didn't mess with nobody else. Like, I did all the right things. I went and got my bachelor's degree, my master's degree while we were together, got my master's while we were married, got married at 24. And when those generational curses are not dealt with, you cannot outrun them. You cannot outrun a generational curse. When it tries to meet you at your front door, yeah, you have to deal with it. And I just didn't have the tools to deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, imagine you like, okay, I'm going to marry a man like my father, but what if your father was abusive? What if your father, sometimes we don't see our parents argue. We don't see the things that they go through. We don't see that our mother is fighting for her husband to be a better man for their child, because you're too young to experience that.
Yeah.
So you didn't see your mother grooming him into stop being a liar, start picking up behind yourself. You had to put the toilet seat down.
Yeah.
We don't have to argue about everything. I know that's what you did in your last relationship, but this is not what we're going to do here. And so you only got to see the best parts of your daddy. You never got to see what she had to groom him into being. So maybe you did marry somebody like your father. He's just not that guy now.
Right.
You know, and so I think also abuse comes in so many different forms. And I think people can't recognize it because they are looking for it to look like this. Yeah. It looks like this. He's slapping me around. He's controlling. He wants to put a tracker on my phone. Yes, and although all those things are a sort of abuse, we have spiritual abuse. The man who knows that you're trying to find a life with Christ, but he doesn't want to wake up at 6 a.m. with you to pray. That's abuse too.
Yes, it is.
You know, knowing that you are not happy with your weight and you're trying to change those, trying to change your eating habits, your workout ethic, all of those things, but yet this man is coming in with fast food every single night. He is saying, let's go out to eat, and not taking into consideration that my woman,
you.
He's sabotaging you But a woman that doesn't know what these things look like, she would easily disguise them and say, "Well, he's trying to feed me, my man. But if I want lobster that night, he gonna go get it. But he know you on that diet, and he knows
Yep.
lobster breaks your skin out. So why would he keep feeding it to you? And he knows you're trying to prepare for a role or a specific job position
Yep.
that you need to be your best self. It may look
100%.
good when a man is saying, you know what, babe, I'm so proud of you and congratulate you. Let's go out and have a drink. But he knows that you're suffering with sobriety.
Okay. Those are real. This is real. Like every abuse. Like when I went to school for the School of Social Work, one of my favorite professors, he would say, like, when we were writing up our reports, he was like, be specific on what that abuse looks like, because hit her what, did what, like what marks did that leave for her, proverbially or literally speaking? Like, what is the effect of it? And I think that when people think about abuse, they're looking for that 4-inch bruise on their arm or on their face or on their jaw. And sometimes that bruise is not seen, and it is an emotional effect, which is, for example, like, oh, well, every time I pass by this block, my heart starts pounding because this is the last time when, where I found that you was cheating on me and I saw you with that girl, and I can't even walk on this block no more because I don't know if y'all finna be there again. Like, that's emotional abuse. And what happens is, a lot of times, that this is one of the things that I like to work on with men is being realistic. We cannot say that we want women to be feminine and soft, but then you do harsh things. When something is delicate, you have an egg in your hand, you don't treat it like a baseball. You can't want that egg to all of a sudden be hard and firm and withstand all your pressure. If you want something to be delicate and soft, then you got to treat it like that. So the environment has to be encased where she's allowed to be soft. So that means that how you treat her, or as my friend Chad Scott says, aftercare, right? Y'all smashing, there's aftercare after the smash. You know what I'm saying? You being intimate. How are you taking care of her? Are you calling her? Are you being consistent? Were you giving her a version of yourself that you couldn't maintain? That's abuse,
But
because
that
that's
isn't,
triggering.
yo, let me tell you something. Putting on an act, and that's not how you really are. It's love bombing in the beginning.
It's
You taking
diabolical.
me on these
Absolutely.
great dates. You're acting so in tune with what I have going on. And really, 5 years in, we live together and we're not even talking about life anymore.
Yep.
But that was a conversation that we were doing every time we were together. We would lay up for hours and talk about where I
Yes.
want to be in life and what I want to do. And now that you got me, you're not waking up every day that enthused. I can't come to you with ideas.
Yeah.
You're not sparking creativity in me.
Yeah.
And
Ooh.
also, I think a man thinks it's like a fine line. He thinks it's either black or white, and there are gray areas. So
Right.
if I'm not slapping the shit out of her, excuse my French, or I'm not whooping
Yeah.
on her, I'm not abusing her. And forget the
Yeah.
woman part, the man, the woman part. I too am guilty. I'm dealing with my own insecurities, and because you are the closest person to me, I'm going to beat up on you. So that means what does that look like, right? I know you guys are like, what does that look like, right? What it looks like is you may not be physically happy with yourself. So now you pick apart your partner and things that they may be
Mm.
insecure about to make
Mm-hmm.
yourself feel better, to make
Right.
yourself feel like I'm doing the work. He's just not doing the work. When really, you need to get in the gym. You need to pick up a book. And maybe if he saw you doing those things, he would be more enticed to be that person as
Yeah.
well. But you both are kind of like soaking in the damage.
Yep.
So even so, right? Not being the controlling person and letting you be yourself. A man sometimes is detrimental to it when he tiptoes around things because communication is his number one asset. So
Yep.
I don't like when you talk to me like this. I don't like when you do these certain things. I don't like that we're not as intimate or whatever. And because you're pussyfooting around it, because you're scared that you might trigger her, you
Mm-hmm.
may lose her
Mm-hmm.
because now she has to change into somebody else that you didn't meet. So here's the toxic part about that too. Oh well, this is how you met me. Well,
Right.
who's to say that you don't need to grow now? We've been
Right.
together 5 years. I need a new person.
Right.
And that new person may not be physically a new person. It
Right.
may be mentally a new
Evolution.
person. Yes,
Right.
the person that I was comfortable being with and who I was 5 years ago didn't have all these things. Didn't have all these obligations, these
Woo.
work obligations, these dreams,
Yeah.
these
These
these new
kids.
set of friends, these new
Yeah.
new chapters in life that I want to touch on. I may not have been the girl that liked reading when you met me 5 years ago, but now I pick up books.
Right.
And I need you to thrive in that space with me now.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
sometimes
That goes back. That goes
if
back
a
to the.
man doesn't grow with you, you do find yourself finding every way to destroy that relationship because you don't want to be there anymore.
A fact. A fact. That goes back to, you know, the concept of the voice of the bride and the voice of the groom. You know what I'm saying? If y'all voice cannot, you know, the word of God says that if the two of you cannot touch and agree, how can you walk together? There's nowhere to go. You're stagnant. You cannot move. You cannot walk forward. You cannot walk up. You cannot build up. You cannot expand. You're limited. You're experiencing a life of delay and limitation and lack, right? So that's why, you know, when men are asking for submission and women are asking for men to kind of like have some agreeableness, there got to be a purpose behind that. Otherwise, we just want somebody to just get along to make it easy. And it's like, submit to you for what? Because sometimes a woman's submission looks like no. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it's like, well, no, you want to spend 100 grand on frivolous things that's going to depreciate. The asset's going to depreciate like a car. But meanwhile, we can go ahead and get 4, 5, 6 doors with that 100 grand and drop 10, 20 bands on each door so that we can have real estate that's going to be exponentially help us grow, give us healthy debt.
Y'all men out there, y'all just be chatting. I want to. What do you bring to the table? What do you do? What do you when a female comes with all of these other things? Like, no, babe, I need you to buy me this Chanel bag. It's like, nah, I like the whore. I
Yeah.
thought I didn't, but I do. I like the whore. I
Yeah.
like the girl who's gonna give it up to me easy on the first night. I don't want to wait 3 months to have sex with you.
Yeah.
The girl that is okay with you going to Applebee's and Cheesecake Factory, right?
Okay.
Because I like
Yes.
to eat regardless. But the girl who likes to do that, the problem is y'all take that and abuse it. And
Yes.
so it's like, I'm never going to take her to a 5-star restaurant.
Right.
I'm never going to splurge on her because
Yes.
she's already showed me this is why women do it. This is why women want to go to the 5-star restaurant right off the rip because she wants to set the standard
Yes.
of I am a high value woman. So if I
Correct.
allow you to take me just anywhere, it's just so I can get to
Then
know
you'll
you.
keep taking me just anywhere.
Just so we can talk. You know how many guys I've dated with I really do like the conversation and I'm okay with talking with you in the car because the conversation is just that much of a high. But I need you to be swift and fast enough to know that although I enjoyed this conversation with you in the car, I got a special place to take you just because I enjoyed doing this and that with you.
Yes.
And you don't want women pouring their problems onto you when you first meet them. Oh, I got my bills. Oh, I got a baby. I need a baby. Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
need this. I need that. But y'all men, I ain't gonna lie, dating scene, I'd have had some men be like, hey, yo, you know, I want to see you tonight and send me a picture of somebody breaking into his car. And I'm like, I don't even know you.
Mm-mm.
I
Right.
don't even know you well enough to care.
Right.
Respectfully, I don't care. I don't
Right.
care because I'm going to tell you what I went through this morning, and it's going to be so draining because I know everybody's not built like I to handle those kind of conversations that you are going to be so turned off. Like, dang, I didn't even get on the first date with her. Her Wi-Fi,
One
guys, hold
one
on.
one of the things that I always say to myself, and I've realized, the way I meet a person is more than likely the way things are going to dissolve. Because there's ebbs and flows to every relationship, right? Like some of my best friends, I don't talk to them every day, right? So we may have had a season where I talk to them every single day, but that dissolves to where, you know, life starts lifing. If I meet somebody and there's drama, I promise you it's going to dissolve off of that drama. If you don't have the capacity to like handle life challenges and issues and you're coming to leech off of my energy of support, and I'm not saying that it's ever wrong, there's some people who have bad luck, who are just cursed, you feel me? Like, no matter what opportunity is presented, no matter how much help you provide for them, no matter the lending ear that you give to them, they don't want to heed to wisdom, they don't want to listen, they want to do what they want to do, and they want to wrap themselves around chaos constantly, and they be like, damn, my life is not up. Yeah, because you don't want to listen to the people that God is bringing into your life so you can shift. Like maybe when he parked his car there, as you know, as an example, this gentleman, maybe somebody told him, don't park on this block. This block is hot. but you want to park there, and now you upset because somebody done broke into your car, but somebody told you do not park here, or you've seen it already happen, and instead of you thinking like, yo, God, thank you for the wisdom that I don't make these decisions, they make these decisions and then they want to share the repercussions with the closest people around them. We're not doing that over here. We're not doing that. And that's something that I think, gentlemen, one of the things that I hope for gentlemen to do more of, which is beyond them connecting with one another, because I can only do so much as a woman. I cannot make a man into a king. I cannot make a man into a man into a man, or a boy to a man. Like, I cannot do that. That's not my role. My role is exposure to information so that he can grow, because most people don't got patience for men. Most men do not want to help men. Most men who are married, got businesses, and they have their family, they're not looking for men who are unmarried with no kids and barely got their job. They don't want to work with them because they ain't got the patience for it. So I don't have a problem being that mode of patience in that incubator period of his life while he's transitioning. You know what I'm saying? I wish there were more men that would help men, but while I'm doing that, men have to recognize and realize what they're asking of women to deal with. Why do they feel like it's okay to want struggle love? Like, what is going on with you that you want this feminine, docile, delicate egg of a woman, a gentle petal, to withstand a desert storm with you? Like, what is that giving you as a man? Where versus being the man that says, you know what, I need to create infrastructure in my life that can support and protect this woman that I want to have in my life, who was supposed to be the mother of our kids in the future. God, God will. You understand what I'm saying? Like, thinking
I,
ahead.
I had this conversation with guys the other day, and I said, the man for me, he not gonna want to see me struggle. The type of man for me, he was like, yeah, but y'all don't want to go through. I said, no. Here's the difference. A man who is trying to create a healthy environment, who wants to break those generational curses, whether he grew up without his daddy, whether he grew up seeing abuse and all those things. Men don't want to bring you because they do want that submissive woman, and they know that you cannot be that person in this type of environment. So I respect the man who's like, yo, we about to lose it all, and we might have to lose this crib, and I don't want you to go sleep in a shelter with me, even though I know you would, because I know you are a rider, and I know you will put us first, not put me first, put us first. Yes. In all situations. Yes. But because I put us first too, I don't want you to sleep in a shelter. Yes. I want you to go back home to your mother's house where you got a roof over your head, you got food, you got a support system there. Let me go get right.
Yes.
Then we can resume. Yes. And in the midst, what that looks like is, doesn't mean you guys are not speaking. Doesn't mean you're not helping him with a business plan. It doesn't mean that you're not driving him to interviews and job interviews. You didn't go buy him. You went and bought him a tie. You helped him write his resume because he doesn't know how to do one. And I'm still here for you. I'm still shooting in the gym with you. But that struggle doesn't have to look like us sleeping on the floor together. And eating oodles and noodles every night. I don't want to struggle like that. And the man that truly loves me, he doesn't want that for me either.
No, absolutely not. And it's like, it hardens you as a woman. I've been in situations where I had to toughen up. It hardens you. It's impossible for it not to. You have to get calloused up. I don't care if you're a woman. If you lift weights, you're going to have calluses on your palms. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you cannot lift anything heavy and not have a consequence to that. There are consequences to putting women in positions of struggle. We harden. We become very direct. We don't have time to pussyfoot. We don't have time to ego stroke. We are in warfare right now. It's time to go. I've never seen anybody in the middle of battle talking to somebody and say, hey, there's a bullet right over there. No, it's like, hey, yo, get down. Like, you get hard because we're in the middle of something.
You go into survival mode. And as much as they want you to be like, well, I need love because I got to go out. He got to go out and get the money. And he's like, well, I need you to give me some coochie. I need you to love with me. I need you to make a meal. And I'm like, I can't even think about those things. I can't even love on you properly and be super submissive because I gotta put these. I was a stripper for a very long time, right? And it's just now I'm getting to a space where that's not an option, even if I need the money. What do normal people do when they need money? I don't know, right? I have to figure that out. And
I love it.
The calluses part, when I was dancing, I had calluses on the bottom of my foot.
Really? Right? That makes sense. From being in the heels
calluses on the bottom, and I was going to get pedicures on a regular, but I didn't get them as often as I would now that I don't dance because I needed the calluses on my feet. When
No
I would when I
way.
would when I would get pedicures, my feet would be smooth, but they would be so sore. And because
Ooh,
I'm
this is
in
so
6 inch
good. This is so
stilettos,
good.
8 hours of the day, I need that protection on my feet because I
Are
am
y'all
in
picking up what
warfare.
she putting down? Are y'all picking this up? This is fire right now. You speaking, you prophesying over here. Go ahead. I'm sorry. This is so good. Yes.
I needed that hardened part right underneath my toes,
Yes.
right there at the heel of my foot,
Yeah.
because
Yes.
I'm standing on hard ground. I'm I'm
Yes.
I'm I'm,
The
I'm working
pressure.
8 to 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, and dealing and putting myself in environments that cause for me to be strong, to be focused, to have the mental capacity, let alone the physical capacity, to be able to
Yeah.
stand. I don't know how many people can stand in 6 inch heels for 8 hours a day and do it
My Lord.
7 days out the week. I don't know so
Yeah.
many people that can do that.
Nope.
So I had to chill out on getting the pedicure because I'm still trying to find a way to be submissive, to be a lady. And that comes with I
Yeah.
need a pedicure. I need my
Yeah.
toes to look good. I need the fridge.
Yes.
I needed to look. But now when I'm going, I have to pick and choose how soft I want to be. So it's like, ma'am, I just need you
Damn.
to clean my toes up because they're gonna be sticking out of my shoes. But leave that callus on there, please. I need it. I need
Woo.
it because I can't withstand what I'm about to go through tonight without that. I can't get to the bag. I can't dance all night until the money comes into the building because
Yeah.
my feet are too soft.
Yes.
So that just applies to life. And it's like, I'm with a man who, yeah, he's a provider. He's doing all these things. But now you need me to pitch in. You have to be willing to sacrifice something too. The
Yes.
moment you tell me you need me to pitch in a severe way, which is unfeminine and masculine,
Come on.
you need to know that there will not be too many cuddles every night. There
Yep.
probably won't be much sex,
Yep.
and this is what we're gonna deal with right now. I
Yep.
can't come home soft. I sometimes I'm not her.
Yeah.
I- I'm
100%.
not her.
100%.
I
That's
want to be her for
fire.
you. I like that all the time, but I got callous right now,
Yeah.
baby. We got to get to the bag. We got to, and if you want that rider that you're talking about, she is not going to be the most feminine in that season.
No,
The
it's not.
season, and again, we got autumn, we got summer, we got spring, we got winter. This winter, baby, it's just gonna be callus season, and that's
Right.
just what it is. We
Right.
we can't get pedicures every 2 weeks because we need your feet to be tough because of what we about to go through. But I
Absolutely.
promise you, if you stick it out with me, with summer and fall come, you're gonna be able to put your feet up. You're gonna be able to go get them pedicures. The Instead of the $50 pedicure, you're gonna be able to get the $100, $120 spa treatment with all the special and the roses and the whatever they doing. You can get all of that now.
Right. Yes. Absolutely. All the jelly that they put up in there, all of that, all the
even
works.
even with
All
our
the
nails, I know there's seasons where I'm in my most delicate and I don't gotta pick up a thing. So I can do the long fingernails with the
yeah.
bedazzled diamonds on them because they're
Yeah.
not getting caught on anything. And then
Yeah.
there's the seasons where I gotta pop them bitches off.
Yep.
And I gotta be like, I'm just doing press-ons because I'm moving so fast and I can't afford. Do I spend $100 on nails or do I spend $100 in my refrigerator? And
Fact.
so let me go to the Dollar Tree and get 5 packs of
Yep.
press-ons and crazy glue.
Yep.
So that way I can still be presentable going out into the world because I gotta get to what I gotta get to. I still have a brand to protect.
Right.
But you know what? These are the sacrifices that I'm making behind the screen so you guys can sit here and get these type of gems with me.
Yes, absolutely. That is so fire. And I hope like when people like catch this playback that they're understanding what we're discussing and we're talking about because sometimes people will try to discredit people saying like, oh, well, women back in the day they did X. The woman back in the day wasn't even telling their kids they love them. The woman back in the day was in the kitchen miserable. The women back in the day were tired, depleted. The women back in the day, they were not soft. They were not soft. You know what I'm saying? Like they were not hugging you up. They were hugging their grandbabies up. They wasn't hugging up their kids. They was too busy delegating the 15 kids to do XYZ. So people just we just live in a day and age where people just want what they want when they want it, how they want it, and how they can
They
get it.
raised by social media. They be like, well,
Yeah,
my mama, I saw my mama still went to work. She still came home and cooked. She still did it. I said, yeah,
yeah,
but I bet you your daddy wasn't getting no coochie at the end of the night.
absolutely not. As a matter of fact, my ex-husband, that was one of the things that he said. Like when we had our daughter, when I only have one child. But when I had her, motherhood absolutely did not look anything like what I thought it was going to look like. Like my body changing, my mood, my fatigue, like I was in a state of perpetual shock. Needless to say, we moved away from all family, so we only had each other, and he worked like the graveyard shift. And I was so tired, and I just was like, I was nursing her, so I'm waking up every 2 hours. I'm trying to keep the house clean. I'm trying to do all these things. I graduated my master's degree. I'm not using it. I'm a total egghead. I need that type of stimulation, and I'm just taking care of this baby, feeling like, what am I doing every day? And he was just like, well, and I told him, I was like, yo, I need help. Like, I need help around the house. I need help. Like, I can't cook and clean the way that I used
His
to.
help, he thought it was just financial. He thought his help was
He
just
just thought
financial.
he just thought it was financial. So he was like, well, my mom, she used to walk such and such miles with no car in the snow, and she would come home and she would cook. And I was like, yeah, but this is why we're here, because your mother didn't tell you that she even loved you ever. She's never told you that she loved you. Like, what do you want? Because if you need me to be that version of a woman, just say that. Because that's another beast. You're requiring something of me you want to pull water from the well, and I'm dry right now. You understand what I'm saying? Like, yes, your mom walked miles and miles and miles to struggle, but did you enjoy seeing her like that? Like, why is that the example? You know what I'm saying? Why is the example that people want to use of their family member at their lowest of a low? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would never want to use an example of when my father was walking around with the soles of his shoes off. I don't want that for nobody that I love. Just because my father may have had to do something for the family does not mean that that's the requirement that I'm looking for to be implemented as a generational curse, to be familiar, to keep going on. No, we going up from here. No, I'm not going to put my wife in a position where she can't even tell me or our child, I love you, because her mind is like on overdrive, overthinking, on making sure like I gotta keep all these balls juggling, and I can't let nothing drop. So all the soft, sweet stuff is gonna have to wait
But
for a
that
second, because
goes
I'm
vice
survival
versa.
mode.
That goes vice versa too, because men are holding the world on their shoulder, right? And he can't even come
Mm-hmm.
and talk to you and tell you because he's afraid that you're gonna look at him less than a man. And us
Facts.
women, we gotta do better at supporting our men when they are in this survival mode
Yes.
of I can't drop the ball. I'm paying all the bills, and I know my woman, I want her to stay submissive.
Right.
I want her to stay in this space. So I can't come to her and tell her, you know what, babe, I know it's been great the last 4 or 5 years, but I need you to go find a job. I need you to go back to work for a little bit, just so it can take a little pressure off of me, so I can continue loving you properly. Because
Indeed.
if I have to pick up everything, I won't be the most gentleman to you. I
Yep.
won't be the most loving to you.
Yep.
I won't be the most attentive to you. And so we can work hard and still come home and attend to our families. We have that superpower to be able to do that.
I
But you
love
need
that.
to be able to communicate that I'm drained today. My battery's
Yes.
on E walking through this door. Before you get home in that car and you like, how was work? I'm drained.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about how we're going to pay this, how we're going to pay
Yeah.
that, and I don't want to put it on you. And you, as the woman, is supposed to say, "Well, let's figure it out together."
Yes.
But if you don't, men have a problem communicating because they have been poisoned with the thought of, if I let her know that I can't handle
Yeah.
it, depending on the caliber of woman you dating. If you're dating a woman who's used to Chanel bags and designer and traveling,
She gonna
I
freak
can't
out.
tell this woman
Yeah.
I can't afford her car note for her business month.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
though I've
Absolutely.
been paying it for X amount of years, I can't do it this month. And the problem is, don't wait until the payment is late. Tell me 3, 4 months prior, I need you to go
Right.
find a job, babe, so we don't lose everything that we built. And as
Well,
soon as I can pick the
that's how some women get themselves stuck, because I've met with a lot of men who do communicate. We women sometimes, some women be like, "Oh, he not communicating." Sometimes our reaction to his bad news, or the way we might see something, it may not be problematic for him, but it's problematic for us, because as a woman, if a man gives me a problem, I see 12 problems from that one problem, because now I see, okay, where the kids gonna go to school at? Okay, what about the light bill? Da, da, da. Like, I'm doing the calculation. So to him, it seems like one problem. For me, my reaction is like
the
12,
domino
12
effect.
problems. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
women, we got to work on having victory over our emotions. We got to learn how to temper our emotions when our man is bringing some news or expressing himself or saying some things, and to not make it about us, which is why a lot of times, sometimes men don't even want to break up, with a woman, because she's gonna be like, well, what about me and my emotions? She's gonna make it about herself. So sometimes to facilitate that process, to make it easier for a man to feel like, yo, this is my dog, this is my person, this is my best friend, is we got to learn how to just let him have this moment without adding on other elements that we see, and kind of work those on in the background. Like, okay, I see that my man is he going to sleep late, so he not. I'm gonna take care of him. I'm gonna iron his clothes right now. He not going. I'm gonna take care of this for him. I'm just working the background for a little bit to facilitate it, so that he knows that he can lean a little bit on you. I'm not saying like, sometimes we watch these clips, they see the they exaggerate. So if I say lean on you, I'm not gonna have no man lean on me, put his weight on me. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying for him to just drop his weight on you. What I'm saying is that if you are with a partner, both of y'all are pillars, and sometimes their 100% might be your 30% in a season, but that's what the 100 that they have to give. That's all that they have. So either we taking it and we're taking this relationship, or we finna leave it and then just keep recycling and renewing more new relationships. You know what I'm saying? So I do agree with you that women can do better, making it easier for men to emotionally express themselves.
I want to get into, because we have about 15 minutes left.
Yes.
And this is so good. It's so good. We might have to do a part two of
Yeah,
Ask Sandra.
absolutely.
So we talked about, one of the things I asked you is to tell me about one of the wildest experiences you've ever had in your life. And I know because you're at Holiday, automatically you're like, is she talking about a sexual experience? But no, I want to know some of the wildest things you've been through in your life, right? And one of them that stood out was, you come from a Haitian background, sac passe.
Sac passe?
Okay. We love the Haitian man. We love the Lajon.
Yes.
But
I love it.
we love the big Zozo. I know my lingo. I know my lingo. So, but you were in an abusive relationship,
Yes.
and not to spend too much time on it, you got fed up,
Yeah.
and enough was enough. And you chose your daughter, and you like, I got to get up out of here. And luckily, you did have a family, and you did have a support system that allowed you to alleviate yourself from that space. But basically, where I'm going with this is I have an ebook. It's called How to Become a Boss Babe with Holiday. Go get it right now on my website, www.worldofbossbabe.com. And in this book, I talk about the losses, not just the wins. Everybody always wants to talk about how to get to winning, how to get to winning. But the real key in winning is being able to bounce back from a loss.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
can you elaborate on a little bit on how did you bounce back from that loss? What are the 5 steps or advices you would give a woman in your position who's not happy, who's being abused, whether it's mentally, spiritually, or
Yeah.
physically?
Yeah.
How do you get the strength to say, I'm leaving? What does that look like before you leave? What does that look like after you leave? And what type of steps do you need to repair yourself so you don't go back?
Absolutely, girl. Absolutely. So one of the things I've always said to myself, I don't think I ever said this on a live before. I don't think I've ever like verbally said it,
Well,
but
this is
my
why it's
daughter's.
hot with Holiday, because we
It
get the
is. It is Hella
exclusives.
Holiday. It is. You're getting the exclusive for sure. I feel like my daughter saved my life. I feel like I had a love for her that was deeper than I had for myself. I don't know how it happened. I don't know why. That's just the best way I could describe it. And when I saw how my ex-husband, or at the time my husband, was treating me, and the way he was talking about her and about her life, like he wanted, not only did he control my life, but he had her whole life mapped out. Like she would have no agency, no say. And that's not why I left. I didn't leave for that. I still would have stayed for that. There were other things that happened physically. The physical stuff I don't disclose, because that's a conversation I will have with my daughter first before I have with anybody. But physically, there were things that happened that made it unsafe for the both of us to stay there. And my family was just like, yo, we're putting you on a flight. Thank God for my family. It was like I had no time to pack. So I'm living in Texas at the time, and it's the dead of winter. And I'm not thinking, oh my gosh, it's December. It's the dead of winter, because in Texas it's hot. So I jump on a plane. My luggage was filled with only my daughter's stuff. She was a year and a half old. I didn't think about my clothes. I didn't think about anything about myself. I had my flip-flops. I had my shorts, a t-shirt.
You said,
I had my
and
daughter's,
$10 in your
and
pocket.
$10. Okay, $10. I didn't have anything because I was a stay-at-home mom for like 2 years at that point. I stayed home right before I had her, and then the other year and a half, I was just nursing her and
I want
taking
to
care of her.
give you a round of applause first.
Well, thank
I want
you.
to take this time. You guys in the comments, give a round of applause, please, because a lot of women will stay in a
Yeah.
situation Not me. I don't give a shit. I'll leave everything.
Right.
I'll leave with nothing.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I know that God is always going to provide. And I
Yep.
know that He has the final say. So everything that I think that I'm cherishing, that I'm like, I can't leave this behind, it's all materialistic. It can all be replaced except for that baby. And that was the only thing you needed to worry about was leaving. And
What?
women, I don't want you to
Yep.
stay in positions, whether it's a relationship, a heterosexual relationship, or a friendship with a homegirl, a
Okay.
girlfriend, a guy friend. Don't stay in these places because you found yourself dependent
Yeah.
upon the validation, the connection. Even if 80% of that relationship was bad, there's some part of you that depends on the 25%, the 20% that is good. And that's what you're holding on to. You're holding
Yeah.
on to those moments, and it's not enough. Girl, drop everything. Leave the
Yep.
house, leave the
Leave.
clothes,
Yep.
leave everything. Leave the wigs, leave the bags, leave the
All
furs,
of it.
leave everything. If you are not happy and thriving in this position, because I know I'm talking to a lot of women.
Yep.
I'm actually specifying because I have a good friend who's in a position right now. She's been with a man 15 years, kids
Yep.
with him,
Yep.
and she's no longer happy anymore. And the reason she's staying is because she's thinking about my kids, how much I put into this house, how much I'm going to change their normalcy and their routine if I leave. This is when I say, fuck them kids.
Yeah.
Choose
No,
you.
seriously. Absolutely. 100%. As a matter of fact, the best thing that my ex-husband could have ever done was to dismantle me because I didn't have a lot to lose. Although this conversation is about loss, but what he thought he was going to use to break me is what made it even easier for me to bounce. So I do have like a level of sympathy for people who do have like the home and the car, but all that stuff pales in comparison to the life, the breath life that you have in your lungs that helped you to make those things anyway. You can make them again. You know, my life isn't exponentially better, but my ex-husband, he dismantled my character and my self-esteem so much that when I came back to New York, nobody recognized me. I physically looked the same, but my light, my shine, my sense of humor was gone. She was completely gone. It took me years to recognize myself again. Years. When I say years, I'm talking about like 5-6 years. It wasn't easy. It was a really traumatic situation. One of the best things that ever happened was I had from back in the day, like early
You
2000s.
broke up.
And one of the ladies reached out to me and she was like, hey, make sure. She was like, it sounds like you're in an abusive relationship. And I was like, really? He don't really be doing XYZ. And she was just like, no, you're in an abusive relationship and you need to have a getaway bag. And I was like, well, what's that? And she was like, have your passport, your daughter's birth certificate, have your social security card. And I had that joint hidden behind the washing machine. So when it was time for me to dip and I finished packing her things and I left, I had my little safety bag with my information so I can go ahead and go ahead and get employed all over again, find a place to live all over again. And my family absolutely helped me. It was so crazy that in order for me to go on a job interview, I had to borrow my sister's clothes. And I didn't fit a lot of her clothes. So I wore the same blue button down blouse
Oh,
and gray slacks for every single job interview.
I
I
just
had,
got chills.
yeah, it was terrible.
I
And
just
then
got chills.
I joined this other website. So I'm dropping names right here. So for anybody who's in a situation so that you know where to go and excuses no longer get to be your portion. I also was part of this. I follow this website, freecycle.org, and I looked at Brooklyn. So I was starting to tell people like, hey, I'm in need of clothes. I need to go on job interviews. And I found this girl on Ocean Ave in Brooklyn, a Caucasian woman. She was a size 16. That was the size that I was at the time. And she gave me a bag full of clothes that she did not need. And those were the clothes that I wore for 2 years because the money that I was making, I only had enough to make sure that my daughter was good through daycare because daycare is expensive as heck. He did not want to support financially. We did not work things out through court as of yet. I could not afford to really buy shoes for myself, buy clothes for myself, anything like that. So I was wearing hand-me-downs for 2 years. I was wearing hand-me-downs just to make sure that, and that was so what I would say for advice, put on the garment of humility. When you're going through a hard time, it don't matter what you've built up in your life and how much you think that you've elevated and you've gotten yourself to a certain point that you get to kind of like feel a certain way about yourself. You're going to have to take off that garment of pride and, well, I don't want to lose this, and put on the garment of humility and get yourself lowly. Get as low as you can, low in what you
I'm
believe
a
that you.
add to the humility, right? Everybody
Mm-hmm.
knows me for going getting bag and everything, and I no longer wanted to choose a strip club as an option anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And but I hadn't worked a job in 15 years.
Yeah.
Um, I called some of my friends who were I got to my wits end, and I was just tired of making excuses of how to get some money, and I
Mm.
needed to tap in and be able to help in my household. I no longer could lay up and not work.
Yeah.
And so some of my friends, they had 9 to 5s. Most of my friends are total opposite of me. So they work regular jobs, they have careers, they have those things. And I said, I need a resume. Do you know my friend who works for the post office sent me her resume? She said, just put your name at the top.
Yes.
She said the phone numbers, grab some of your friends and use them as references. Just tell them what the job title is. Do you know I got a whole job,
Yeah.
probably making $30 better, thirty
Right.
dollars plus better an hour when people are starting at 15 and 20. And here I haven't had a job in 15 years and I'm
Yeah.
starting here.
Yeah.
And I have someone going into an interview telling me that they think I'm overqualified. And I'm like, you have no idea. I haven't worked a job in 15 years. I landed a job, health insurance, dental, everything.
Yeah.
And I'm no longer operating in, it makes me tear up. And I'm no longer operating in fear
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
this is my only option, the strip club, to make
Yeah.
money. I Nobody can tell me they can't go get a job. Nobody can
Yes.
tell me
Woo!
they
I'm
can't
getting
start from
chills.
scratch. 2019, I was homeless. I was sleeping in a car. I left
Wow.
Miami because I had made such bad financial decisions. And all I had was my suitcase. I had maybe 2 or 3 outfits. I left every wig, every designer bag, anything I had, I left it. And I was sleeping in a car. I was, I came to New York and I was staying in Airbnbs and hotels. And luckily, my best friend opened her home to me, allowed me to sleep on the couch until I could afford to get my own apartment. And then I ended up meeting my man who stepped in, and he's Superman. You understand what I'm saying? And everything like
Yeah.
that. But I was, and he didn't even see the homeless in me. He didn't see that I was going through this. All he saw was yo, this girl is getting to it. She's a hustler. And I couldn't let nobody see. For that getaway bag that you're talking about, being in a relationship for 6 years. I had a getaway bag still in my trunk because I didn't. This
Wow.
man was doing so much for me, and I knew how much I had lost already, that I never wanted to depend on the materialistic things that they had bought me. Said I'd leave all this shit behind
Leave it.
and
Yeah.
just go with this bag. He said, why do you still got this suitcase? I said, because if it ever fails and this doesn't work, I don't want to have to worry about getting back in the house to grab these things.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. 100%. You on it. You on it. You get it. You like, and nobody gets it until they've been in it. You get it. It's not easy. It's scary. It's you know, you feel humbled. You're terrified, but when you have a certain level of respect and love for yourself, you will be willing to do the unthinkable. That was something that I never ever thought that I would do, and I'm so grateful, so happy that you chose yourself in that way. Like, I would never, even looking at you, like I said, I think the first time I ever seen you maybe was in 2020 Broadway show, when he used to do his Broadway show in
Mhm.
Harlem. I remember seeing you. And I was like, she is so, like, I just love your vivaciousness, your personality, and the confidence.
Thank
You,
you.
like, you ooze confidence out of your pores. You know what I'm saying? And been a fan, you know, in the background ever since. And, you know, these things are things, like, that's what I was saying. Like, I know people look at you and they would never know. They would never. You make it look so simple. So he's like, I remember, like, you had a video where you were working out and you were just tearing up, and I was like, yo, thank you for just being so vulnerable, because, you know, some of us is living our life vicariously through you. You're like, yo, her life is popping and she looks like she's having so much fun. But you've worked hard for this. You've worked hard to be where you at. You still working for it, and you're never giving up on yourself. And I think, like, badges of honor like that women like us wear, we don't always get our flowers. You know what I'm saying? We don't always get or experience gratitude, or we don't tend to, like, really celebrate those moments. So it seems like they're just so far away. You know what I mean? Like, you got to, like, really think back and think all that you've accomplished in life.
You bring me to my next question,
Yes.
which is I asked you about some personal shifts in your life. And you said growing with God, religious chaos, and relationships, relationship freedom. But I added in there financial freedom. And
Yeah.
you said mercy, love, and grace. Giving yourself grace.
Yes.
Giving yourself the lane to say, I'm human. I'm
Yeah.
enough. I
Yes.
love me. And I will always choose me. And as
Yes.
long as you keep choosing you, whether that's on a spiritual path,
Mm-hmm.
um, because we're all trying to live a consecrated life. We're all
Yep.
trying to figure out what that looks like in our
Yep.
youthfulness, right?
Yeah.
And
This day and
it's
age.
really, and that's a whole nother life. Um, but I want to lead with this because we have a few more minutes before we have to wrap up. Give yourself grace. What
Yeah.
does giving yourself grace look like?
I love that. So when you're coming from an environment where you were criticized for every little thing that you did, how you said it, you grow up critical. And it sounds like constructive criticism, and it's a complete lie. You think that you are looking and evaluating the things that you're doing, and you see what you can do better. So in order for you to have grace and to have true constructive criticism, it requires you to see what you're doing well. It requires you to really look at yourself and be like, yo, you the mother effing shit, and you ain't got to do another mother effing thing to prove it. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's your
having that.
shoulder self,
And
baby.
absolutely, exactly. Yes, I had to look at myself in the mirror sometimes and just be like, Cassandra, you've done so much. You know, giving myself grace also looks like me giving others grace when I see other
Because
people being critical of
God is
themselves.
so merciful.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Right? Like I had to spend a year studying grace to realize like, oh my gosh, I thought that God was this mean stepdaddy of a father who wanted nothing more than to see me step out of line so he can whip me and heckle me and punish me so that I could come back to my knees groveling for his protection. That was the God that I knew and grew up with. And I realized he ain't never been that God. And I had to learn him as father, as daddy. I had to become a 5-year-old little girl again and again and again. Not too long ago, as a matter of fact, this is so weird because I consider myself like a 5'5" thug from Brooklyn, right? Like even though I'm a little geeky and nerdy, but I'm tough. And I was praying in my house and I felt the love of Jesus just wash over me, the love of the Father fill me up to the point where I don't think I've ever in my life cried so hard, not even for the birth of my daughter. I never in my life cried so hard to the point where and nobody's around. And I was like, yo, Cassandra, get it together. Like, I'm still trying to be a thug in the presence of the Father. You know what I'm saying? So I got to learn grace. And after the fact, I was like, really, Cassandra? Like, that was your moment to really experience his love. And you over here worried because you worried how you look. But, you know, in those moments, I talk very casually. I curse when I talk to God sometimes. You know, I try not to curse in public because I do want to represent the kingdom of God, but I'm real with God. I'm honest with him. If I want something, if I feel like he's, and that is also an aspect of grace because grace is being honest. It's being real. It's being as human as possible and giving that grace to others. So I'm gracious with my daughter. I let her know what grace is, right? So like mommy's being gracious right now. And if you do this again, then we're gonna have some
I
consequences,
might
right?
have
So
to
I let her know when
flood. I
grace is
might
being
have to flood this bitch real quick.
exactly. Like, don't be
But you
doing
gonna
the
see a
thing.
rainbow, and I'm letting you
Right,
know I don't want to. I don't want to flood this again. So please be
right.
mindful.
Yes,
I will make
absolutely.
it rain.
Absolutely. So tangibly, like for anybody who's looking, who's like wondering like what grace looks like tangibly without the poetic words, tangibly grace of myself to say what I'm doing well, even when I know that there's more for me.
Repeat
Having
that
grace
one
for
more time. You
myself
broke up.
looks like, say that again.
Break up. You broke up. Grace
Oh,
looks
okay.
like what?
Grace looks like me saying what I did well, even when I know I have capacity for more. Grace looks like me paying attention to myself, right? So I follow my woman's menstrual cycle. So when I'm feeling like I want to snack a bit and I know I got 10-pound goal that I'm trying to lose, but I'm over here snacking on everything, I look at my calendar and be like, oh, you are in your luteal phase. So you getting kind of hungry right now. So let's go ahead and get some peanuts that got chocolate that's chocolate coated with dark chocolate as opposed to getting a Snickers, right? So it looks like attending to my needs without punishing myself, right? So the old version of Cassandra would be like, I'm gonna thug it out. I'm gonna just eat lettuce and salad. I'm gonna just do smoothies. I'm not eating nothing else and suffering and struggling and hating it. And then when I'm off my diet, I'm binging now because I'm trying to re up from what I lost.
Well,
And I
you're
think
doing
that's
better than me because I have this black and white for me. I just came off a binge, which was I partied for 4 days straight. I'm drinking.
Yeah.
I'm waking up hungover. I'm
Yeah.
going to get a burger. I'm going to get everything, right? And then there's this moment where I wake up because it's been happening my entire life. I'm trying to figure out how to get out of that space.
Mm-hmm.
But I wake up and I say, I hate food and
Mm.
I hate alcohol
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to see a club and I don't want to party and I'm okay with being at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I might do that for 3 months. But the partying part might only be 4 or 5 days, but it feels like I consumed my life with it because of
Yeah.
how much toxicity is in those rooms and in those spaces. They're more absorbing than the positive spaces.
No, seriously, yeah.
They're more
Absolutely.
draining than the positive spaces.
It's
So
true.
now it's here it is. It's Tuesday, and we're like, I've been partying on weekend. It was a great time, and I know it was great for Instagram to watch and see me living my best life. But they don't understand to recoup from all of that is I'm going on a fast for 3 days. One, a
Right.
spiritual one, because it's things I need from God, and He is the most merciful. And so He's
Yeah.
like, okay, what's up? Because you was just on your knees every morning for 2 weeks at 6 a.m. begging me for this. And now,
Facts.
when things are looking a little up for you,
Yeah.
you forgot about me.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's the
let's
human
get
way.
let's get back
100%.
let's get back to it. My pastor had said something about a dog. When you're eating at the table and the dog is right there and he's begging and he's
Just
begging and he's
crumbs.
begging because he's waiting for you to drop some crumbs, right?
Yeah.
God is working the same way when you pray.
Woo! I'm getting chills. Yeah.
So you praying and praying and praying and praying. You have to be as diligent as that dog that's looking for you to drop a crumb because Toto will sit there and allow you to play with him and not drop a lick of anything on the floor. And he's gonna stay there probably all day. He's gonna walk away, he's gonna come back and try again. He's gonna leave and
Yeah.
come back again. And then tomorrow, do you think Toto forgot that you didn't give him no crumbs? No, he didn't. He's waiting for you, that breakfast strudel you made
Yeah.
this morning, whatever you're making for lunch, he's hoping and praying you
Oh, yeah.
drop a crumb until eventually Toto walks away. And had Toto just stayed a little longer begging, what you would have did.
Can I support you for a
Yeah.
moment with that on how to get through that? So one of the things that I became reminded of and felt revelatory around, because I just came off of a fast as well, and I kind of did like the same kind of thing, and I was like, dang, like I want to stay consistent. And then I reread where after Jesus Christ fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, the devil came to meet him. We got to remember that when we have those fasts, that your pores are so, like, spiritual pores are so open because we're ready to receive. And the enemy knows that he wants to fill those pores up with the things of the old. So one of the things that we do is we resist, and the best way to resist is just with the word of God. Just declare the word of God, which would, for in your case, be like, I have the mind of Christ. I'm not double-minded. I'm single-minded. I'm focused on my craft. I'm doing this. I'm gonna go party with my people for one day, and that's my cap. And I'm finna get back on my grind because I'm focused. I'm single-minded, and that's that. And that's who I am. I'm the daughter of the Most High God. So you just respond with the word, because I literally was just telling my homegirl that I was like, Dad, I was doing so well. Da, 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 blah, blah, blah. I went out with some friends. I had my drink limit. I'm a lightweight, so
Me
I have a
too.
glass of wine and I'm ready for a nap. You hear me? So I done had a glass of wine at the top of the day, and then we had one little glass, and then we did a shot because my homeboy opened up his new location, and then I had a couple of puffs of a cigar. By the time I got home and I woke up the next day, I had to take the entire day off from just that little bit, because not only that, but being empathic, you absorb the energy around you. So people, while my life may not feel chaotic, other people that surround me is chaotic, and I'm absorbing that energy. So the next day I was like, Dag, I really don't want to get off my, path, but we respond with the word. You move just how you said it. You know God is gracious and merciful. The devil hates when you know that. I look up to you in that way, that is your knee-jerk reaction, because that's not my knee-jerk reaction. I love that about you, and that's like rewarding for me and fulfilling for me as your sister in Christ to hear you say that. That's your response. Your response to like going a certain way is like, hey, yo, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to stop, because I know God is merciful. He's gracious. He loves me. I'm going to just continue to redirect myself. Like, that's gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? Because that
And you
shows
have to,
that.
and you also gotta keep people out your business, right? So when you are going through those things and you have the friend, you be like, oh, I thought you was fasting. Why you eating? You be like,
They do.
this is why the next time I fast, I'm not going to tell you.
Right.
This is why the next time I say that I'm not going to drink as much tonight,
I'm not going to
I'm
tell
not
you.
even going to tell you that that's what I'm doing.
Right.
You know? So, and also the act of, I had to learn what sin was.
Yeah.
Because you letting everybody teach you the Bible instead of going to learn it for yourself, you don't really understand what sin is. Sin is not me going out to drink. So this is why it's really hard for people to live a consecrated life, because they think they have to just go and turn into a nun.
Exactly.
And that's not the case. Yes, dressing more modestly, you know, those things come with time if that's not who you really are. You know, but mostly it's about giving yourself the consciousness of knowing that you have self-restraint.
Yep.
So I can go out and party,
Yep.
but I don't have to get drunk, because the sin isn't me drinking. The sin is me leaving filthy drunk.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. If Jesus could turn the water into wine, he obviously ain't got a problem with it.
So I,
you know, wine is itself.
You have to find a happy balance. I think when I watch people do evil things, I watch people move a certain way, I know that they don't have a relationship with God, and God has allowed me to be able to tell my story and my testimony unapologetically, because He knows that I'm a prophecy in itself.
Yep.
And my story. So in the Bible, if you don't read the Bible, there's just different stories told from different perspectives. Same story, it's told from different perspectives. And I'm just telling the same story that you've probably heard a million times, and I'm just giving it to you in my perspective, because hopefully you'll receive it differently. See, when I read the book of John and then I read Matthew, they're telling me the same story, but they're giving it to me differently, where I may relate to Matthew more than I relate to John, because of how he went about developing his relationship with God.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, you know, we do this fasting, but you're not sitting and reading the chapter of Esther to really understand where the Esther fast came from and why people are doing it, and why is it much necessary before you get on your knees and ask God for grace and mercy and favors and things of that sort. I stopped asking for money. I stopped asking for those things. I asked God for wisdom. I asked God for financial literacy. I ask Him for financial discipline. I ask Him to send me my helpers from all over the place that are going to help me keep the things that He has given me, to give me knowledge on my way through these things that I may not know. So it may just be, and you have to be available to hear these things. If you're not in that space, you're going to miss those messages, and you're going to miss those blessings. You're not going to hear the message that when you wake up in the morning, God is in, go to the library today. You keep telling me that you want to build your business, you want to take it to the next level, you want to scale, you want to learn how to be a millionaire, you want to learn how to manage your money. The wisdom is not going to come through the Bible and the scripture. Yes, it may, but He's also saying, I'm telling you to go to the library and pick up the books and read them.
Exactly. 100%. You on it. As a matter of fact, maybe we'll discuss this on a second live, but there was a video that I saw of you that was so inspiring. I believe you were talking to somebody who may have been in New Age practices. She was like using tarot or something like that to talk to God. And I was like, come on, Holiday. She was like, not the God I serve. Like, he ain't in that. And that is so, I don't know if you even realize how powerful that is, because even for myself, I got caught up in the New Age stuff, because New Age practices is a practice and it's practical. And I am like a scholar, right? Like, I do school, and school is practical. You have to do paperwork and this and this third. And Christian culture, or Black Christian culture, has made titles very fancy, and they come up with these really fancy titles about what they're talking about, and it sounds really good, it sounds really motivating. I'm getting chills and everything like that, but when I go home, I still don't know how to execute this word. I still don't know what to do. And New Age practices will tell you, like, persist and resist, and they'll use all these, and they tell you the step by step. And so I was mixing and mingling, and when I saw you say that, and it was everything that my spirit needed in that moment. So trust and know and believe that everything that you're discussing and sharing about your experience of growing in God, maturing in God, coming away from myself, coming away from religious chaos and coming into like an abundant relationship with God, you are impacting lives, because that hit me in my soul so deeply, and it inspired me to like have the courage, to have the courage to say, you know what, God, I am sticking with you. I'm going to be, again, single-minded. I'm not going to be double-minded. I'm going to be single-minded and single-focused with my relationship with you. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I'm giving you your flowers because I love that you are taking on a new journey where people aren't comfortable in these spaces of having these conversations. So I'm giving you your flowers too because I love what you're doing. And I don't just sit down with anybody. You know, I got a million people in my DM like, I want to chat it out with you. And I'd be like, do you really got anything to talk about that could be? Because I'm not about being, yes, we call ourselves influencers, but I'm not about being an influencer. I'm about being impactful.
Yes.
That needs to be the new era of influencers. Impactful. How impactful are you? That's
Yes.
going to separate you from everybody else on the internet. How
Yes.
impactful. I know I'm impactful because when I'm outside, people will literally come to me in tears
Yeah.
about a conversation that I may not even, so I don't be knowing I'm preaching. I just be talking and expressing myself and giving my, and being impactful is what you said impacted my life and my decisions on how
Yep.
I move forward
100%.
with things. Influencing someone is a completely different conversation. So just going into being impactful, you talk about this 8BC approach, build, and create and date. Overcoming as a Christian, you're helping men mature in their emotions. Yes, you have a PhD. Yes, you this highly educated woman. But as you know, when it comes to being in a relationship with men, all the degrees in the world will never prepare you on how to be a great mother and how to be a great partner to somebody.
Facts.
These are things that you have to go through these experiences yourself to be able to dissect what you're going to use for the next one, what you're going to bring. When you guys are going on a camping trip, I never been camping before, so you bring everything. You're Googling everything, you're bringing
Yeah.
everything. Because this is what they said you need until you finally do it yourself. And now the next time you go camping, you like, we don't need that because we're not even going to use it. Last time I brought that, we didn't even use that. And
Yeah.
so we need to move the same way with life. Take taking what we learned from something else and knowing that we don't need to use these things just because people say this is a part of what the process looks like. My process don't look
Mm-hmm.
like yours. How I built my business don't look like yours. We look at Jeff Bezos, who built Amazon, that he's just the smartest man in the world. And although he used the most simplest of tools around him to create generational wealth.
Mm-hmm.
He has a mind frame of saying, I don't need to complicate things for them to keep their their simplicity and their signature of what the message is trying to be. So I can go get an eighth grader to write directions on how to use this laptop so you people can use it without a manual.
Wow. That is incredible.
Pick up books, guys. Go get you a book today. If you're not reading the book, even if it takes you 3 weeks to read it, because I'm her, pick up the book, contextualize with what you're reading, so you don't have to rush through a book just to say I read a book and I read all the chapters. No, contextualize, sit with it. I'm also reading this other book, and it's called Crazy Faith,
Mm-hmm.
and it talks about having the faith of a mustard seed and it growing into something amazing, and talking about building foundations of stuff. Everybody wants to quick, but you didn't take the time to have the guy come out and test the soil to make sure the
Mm-hmm.
foundation was great before you actually put all
Come
this
on
money
now.
into it. And now when it rains or when it storms, the house is caving in, the roof is breaking, there's leaks because you were just worried about the outside. It's just like when girls go get breasts, titties, teeth, weave, wigs, ass, all of those things. And yes, it looks great, but the foundation is weak. You could
100%.
get with a man tomorrow that if he's smart enough, he can see through all of that and say one thing and have you crying in the corner.
Yep.
But you this girl who got a million followers, fat ass, driving a fancy car, got a million people throwing themselves at you, and here you are allowing this man to verbally abuse you because he sees through all this stuff that is not really you. The foundation is weak.
Yep.
Because if what he saw was the truth, he would never be able to break you with his words. You would look at him and know that he doesn't even deserve to be in your presence any much longer.
That's
I
it.
want women to do better. I want them to put themselves first. I want them to focus on the losses, not always the wins.
Yes.
And I love that you are guiding me. Make sure you go follow Ask Cassandra right
Thank you.
now. Ask Miss
Yes.
Cassandra right now. Because, men, I know you have a lot of questions that we cannot answer in this moment right now.
Yeah.
But if you are a man who's saying, I'm looking for a quality woman, and I want to take the steps to making sure that the next woman that I meet, I'm able to nurture that relationship properly. I'm able to grow properly. I'm able to say that I'm not the best communicator. I'm able to face my traumas and my triggers so it doesn't ruin a great
Yeah.
woman. Guys,
Yeah.
you got to do better. Ladies, you got to do better. If
Yes.
you don't have a relationship with God, I need you to go find one in whatever
Okay.
capacity that may look like, even if it starts with just reading a chapter a day. Open the book, whatever it lands on, start reading there. Read through the chapter. Get you the Gideon version. I encourage everybody to get the Gideon version of the Bible, because it's like
I'm gonna have to look into that.
yeah, it's like Bible for dummies.
Nice.
And I'm not a person that's really plays on words. So if I don't understand something and it's too complex, I shut down.
Got it.
So don't be afraid to say you don't know something, because it's only going to help you grow in life, and explore different genres of life, different friendships. Start hanging out in different social environments, so
Yes.
that way you can really decide. Because I think people think that they know themselves so well because they've been this person all their life, that they wouldn't even know the new you if it smacked you in the face. And this is
Mm-hmm.
why you're stuck. You're stuck with no business idea. You're stuck with what am I good at? You're stuck with where's my life going? You're stuck with why I can't find a good man. You're stuck. Why can't I have successful girlfriend relationships? And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm thriving in all these spaces because I trust me, I trust God, and not too much. I just want to also land with this. All the things you've been through in life that have given you tough skin, the heartbreak, the liars, the getting fired from a job and not having any other source of income. These are all layers, right? These are all layers that are built to give you tough skin, to give you life lessons that you're
Yep.
supposed to take this thick skin that you got to walk into these other rooms. They're like, I've been through that.
Yep.
Let me
That's
pull a
that.
piece from my own book. Let me pull a piece from my own chapter. Start betting on yourself. Guys, go like, go follow, go share, go subscribe. Hot with Holiday Podcast. Cassandra, is
Yes.
there anything you want to leave us with?
Absolutely. Listen, God, I love y'all. God loves you the most, and I agree with everything that Holiday said. One of the things that you got to do is you got to vet and verify the people that are in your life. People talk a lot of stuff about who they believe that they are, but you are the one that got to vet that. You're the one that has to verify that. You have to be the one to verify whether or not they're a good fit for your life. You cannot go saying, this person promised me the sun, the moon, and the stars, and they ain't never been out there. It's up to you to have that discernment. And with that power of discernment and vision that God has given us, then you get to create the life that you desire, that you want to live in. And so that's completely up to you. And the last thing I want to say is, Holiday, thank you so much for having me. I'm happy I didn't bore you. I was like, I don't know, I feel like I'm a little bit of a boring person at first. And I was like,
I said, let
but
me
you
do
know,
what I do.
you did what you, girl, and you did it, exceeded my expectations. You ain't feel like I'm fun. So I had a really good time being here with you. I'm happy to come back anytime you want.
Yes,
And
yes, I would
y'all be
love
sure to
to do this
follow her
again.
and follow
Hopefully,
her.
we can do it in studio. I just know the world is crazy right now. My schedule is crazy, but I didn't want to miss out on the information. And I know a lot of people depend on me to get information out there to them. So I didn't want to do them a disservice. And so we're going to be going live every Tuesday, 10:30 a.m. with Hot with Holiday podcast. So guys, tune in because I want to have a more direct connection with you guys. I know everybody can't make it into the studio, and I know everybody doesn't have the time to go over to the lives and watch them on YouTube. So now every Tuesday, I'm going to be sitting down with some of your favorite impactful creators. No
Yeah.
longer influencers. I hate that word. And we're
Yeah.
going to be having some real life conversations. And you know, it's Holiday holidays, so anything can happen, baby.
Yes, absolutely.
Love
I
you
love you so much.
guys. Subscribe, follow, subscribe, follow. And guys, don't hesitate. Slide in my DMs. Let me know who you want to see in the hot seat. Let me know some conversations you want to see us talk about. And if you want to see me bring back Ask Miss Cassandra, please let me know. Slide in her DM, guys. Get with it. If you're looking for a lady, especially a lady of Christ, you need to go tap in with her so that way she can go get you all the information. Listen, if you're going through domestic abuse, if you're going through any type of situation, she has provided, and we're going to add those to the live once we chop this this up and edit it, we'll be able to give you the information you need. That if you do are seeking help and are in these compromising positions, whether it be domestic abuse, spiritual abuse, we have outlets for you to get to. So we love you guys. We love you. We love you. We love you so much. I gotta go. Ask Cassandra gotta go. We out of here.
Yes.
Listen, I need y'all to stay a bad bitch. Good credit. Yeah, I said it.
I love it.
Love you
See you,
too,
honey.
baby.
All right, bye.